Winter today is uncomfortable. In the Middle Ages, it was lethal. When winter arrived, it didn't bring cozy evenings or quiet snowfall. It brought hunger, darkness, disease, and fear. There was no central heating, no electric light, no supermarkets filled with food, no weather forecasts warning what was coming. Once winter set in, there was no escape. You endured it or you didn't. This is the story of how people survived the winter in the Middle Ages and why so many of them didn't. For medieval people, winter was not just a season, it was an enemy. Cold destroyed crops that families depended on for survival. Snow blocked roads and cut off trade. Rivers froze solid, isolating entire regions. Animals stopped producing milk. Fresh food disappeared almost overnight. If your household entered winter unprepared, spring was never guaranteed. Medieval chronicles describe winter again and again with the same word: fear. From around the year 1300 onward, Europe entered a period historians now call the Little Ice Age. Winters grew longer and harsher. Summers became shorter and unreliable. Harvests failed again and again. Rivers like the Thames froze so solid that people held markets on the ice. Lakes became highways of frozen silence. Entire villages vanished after consecutive brutal winters. For societies already living on the edge of survival, this shift was devastating. Winter became something people waited for with dread. Homes offered little protection. Most medieval houses were poorly insulated. Walls were thin, floors were dirt or bare stone. Windows were small, uncovered, or sealed with cloth or animal skin. Fireplaces existed, but they were inefficient. Most of the heat vanished straight up the chimney. At night, families slept packed together. Parents, children, and sometimes animals shared the same room, even the same bed. This wasn't about comfort, it was about staying alive. Warmth was shared, privacy disappeared. Food was the greatest concern. Once winter began, nothing grew. Meals depended entirely on what had been preserved months earlier, and preservation was unreliable. People survived on salted meat, dried beans, peas, hard bread, and thin porridge. Fresh vegetables were rare. Fruit was almost non-existent. But food spoiled easily. Meat rotted, grain molded, water became contaminated. Mold poisoning was common, though no one understood it. Hunger weakened the body slowly, disease followed. Winter rarely killed quickly, it killed patiently. Famine was always close. One failed harvest meant hardship. Two meant catastrophe. There were no national food reserves, no rapid transport, no emergency relief. When supplies ran out, people waited. They waited for help that often never came. Chroniclers describe people eating pets, boiling leather, digging up old bones, chewing bark and grass. Winter stripped society down to survival instinct alone. Darkness changed the human mind. In winter, daylight faded early. Without artificial lighting, night stretched endlessly. Candles were expensive, oil lamps were rare. Most people simply sat in darkness. Silence filled homes. Thoughts grew heavy. Depression, anxiety, and fear spread. Though medieval people had no words for them. This was the season when stories of demons, spirits, and monsters thrived. Because the night felt endless, and the cold felt alive. Disease loved winter. Cold weakened the body. Malnutrition lowered resistance. Crowded homes spread infection. Coughs, fevers, respiratory illnesses, and sudden deaths were common. Doctors were scarce. Medicine was limited. Many believed illness was punishment. from God, fate, or the stars. Winter became spiritual suffering as much as physical pain. Clothing helped, but only so much. Wool was essential, layers mattered, but clothing was expensive. Most peasants owned only a few garments, worn year-round. Wet clothes often stayed wet for days. Once cold entered the body, it rarely left. Frostbite was common. Hypothermia was poorly understood and often fatal. Religion grew stronger in winter. Churches filled as temperatures dropped. People prayed for survival more than salvation. Cold and hunger were seen as divine tests. Saints associated with warmth, protection, and endurance became central figures. Festivals like Christmas were not just celebrations, they were psychological lifelines. Light, food, and community, even briefly, meant hope. Entertainment was simple. People told stories, they sang quietly, they played small games. But energy had to be conserved. Every movement burned precious calories. Joy existed, but even joy was rationed. Winter shaped everything. Wars paused, trade stopped, marriages were delayed, deaths increased. Kings feared winter, armies avoided it, peasants endured it. Survival was never guaranteed, it was negotiated, year by year. The biggest difference between then and now is not temperature, it is certainty. Modern people ask, how cold will it get? Medieval people asked, will we survive this winter? Every winter survived was a victory. Every spring felt like a miracle. And when we complain about the cold today, we unknowingly echo fears that once decided who lived and who didn't. In the Middle Ages, winter was not weather, it was fate.